Alright, so we're back with dremeling. And so what's going to happen, you see I stashed the gun back in here. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to look in here. Alright, how close are we to the trigger? On a normal holster, I say normal, one without attachments, your trigger, I found, is a very easy retention point. It doesn't scuff up the metal. You don't want to get in the chamber. It scratches the Kydex. All it. I've been doing it long enough to know what not to do most of the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to remark my line, see where my line was, and make sure I'm still on par with where I want to Dremel at. So I'm going to set you down over here on the thing. See, it's a little high, but I might move you down in a second. But so yeah, so I'm going to come back, see where my trigger is, and kind of angle that off. Now also, I don't want to leave the front of it. You can see how both sides are the same. That's why I cut from the back first. And the front, I want to cut off to where it's even. So I just drew my line. If you can see it, there you go. Because I don't want to have all that extra standing up. Man, it looks super weird down low like that when I'm yapping. So let's go ahead and move this real quick. This is the problem with not keeping your shop clean. All of a sudden you need to move stuff and do extra stuff, and you can't. It's a little higher. So, so I did the right-handed one. So I'm gonna pull this back out, and again, you notice I still only have my 4 corner bolts in there. I actually need to finish cutting this one. See, the bottom's uneven. Problem with using a press and not half molds and all this other fancy stuff is sometimes that'll happen. That's why I use the back, because now, could you imagine trying to draw a line on that? It's awful. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to make sure my trigger's still covered. And I'm going to come to the front and see where I'm going to cut that off. So I actually need to recut this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to recut it. So we're just gonna hang out for a minute. I'm gonna set you up again, and I'm gonna recut because I gotta cut more off. I'm gonna skip the mash this time just because I'm doing really quick cuts. Hooked on my glove. So yeah, I mean, when I'm doing something this small, and the thing is, obviously, if I was to cut that line without taking this apart, that's why I like to use this, the bolts, before I rivet it together, or eyelet it together, because once it's together, it's together. You ever try to get an eyelet off of something? It's awful. So I'm going to make sure my trigger is cut right. I'm actually going to pause that for a second, because you see how this line's all nice and crooked. I've got to straighten it out, otherwise the holster will look terrible. Nope, that's not what I'm doing. Alright, so what I'm actually going to do this time is I'm going to eyeball this one, because I cannot get a straight line to save my life. But again, since this was actually supposed to be a dremeling one, and I'll have to cut this off and start again, you get it. Nice straight line now. Now, you notice there's a It's a nice little indent there. So I'm going to have to get in there with the Dremel and cut that off. Let's see about this one. Alright, in case you couldn't tell what I did on that one. I went to go cut out the trigger and realized it's really hard to catch an angle with the bandsaw. So I'm going to pick this up. I don't know why I keep talking like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the Dremel on it. And then that way I'm going to work out my holes. Not holes. My angles. Because I want it to be as even as possible. And I still want the trigger to be covered because I also got to blow this out. And we're going to have a whole other video on that too. Man, this is a lot of videos. So I'm going to cut you off here. This will be the adjusting the cuts, again it even, and we'll come back for dremeling.